Well, it's my personal honor to introduce this next speaker. He's a Pro Bowler. He's also a team captain, and anyone who's a Charger fan is pretty familiar with the impact that 25 has on the football field. But what's even more important is the way that he's affecting lives off the football field. So please give a warm Madison welcome for San Diego Charger and founder of Living for One, Mr. Darrell Stuckey.
Good evening. Good evening. Everybody doing good tonight? No, you're supposed to be doing great. This is an awesome event. I'm excited that you all came out today. And I say that because the topic of today is something that most people think is indirect. Most people think it doesn't really concern them or influence them because they can't see it happening to them directly. Or they keep it at a distance because they don't want to know. But I'm a firm believer that nothing stays in the dark because darkness is just a byproduct of the absence of light. Because it never happens the other way around. A room is dark until a light comes on. A room is dark until someone that is illuminating walks in. And I say this because we create the darkness of this world as people. We allow things to happen or do things to each other that cause darkness. And I say that because you can be the light. And it's literally, we can be the light individually because we always have control over one thing and one thing alone: the way we respond, or our attitude, or the direction we push our energy. And I say that because of the fact that before we came in this room, yeah, it was dark. It was dark. It was definitely dark. But where there's light, that darkness does not exist. So we find a way to support each other, no matter what the circumstances are, to be an unconditional person, regardless of what happens in our lives. We could be the light in any room, regardless of what we've been through. Because the things that are supposed to break us, that are supposed to discourage us, that are supposed to scar us, is usually what strengthens us to be able to go against and persevere through that much more, or to be in a position to help someone else get through the same thing you've been through. Now, I do want to share a little bit of my heart. I say that because I have a poem I want to read to you, and unfortunately, I wrote it. That's funny? You're supposed to encourage me. Be the light in my darkness right now. In a space full of windows, but can't get out. Striving, but you can't dream. Standing still, but you're running inside. Looking in the distance, but can't see past the obstacles. Smiling, but for some reason tears wash it away. Living, but life is so suffocating. In the light, but darkness surrounds you. Beauty hid by scars. Love deprived by fear. Life taken by hand. I'm just a man, taking a stand to be the hand who aids life, who encourages you to smile, pushing you towards your dream, breaking through the obstacles that block your view, illuminating the darkness that surrounds you, and medicating the scars that hide your inner beauty, giving you back your life. Now me, I am just one man, and for me, I'm big on faith, and for me, I'm a firm believer in my Lord, Savior Jesus Christ, because I believe that He did create the heavens and the earth, but it was funny because He waited until the last day to create man. So, of course, He saved the best for last, right? And I say this because He created man, but He realized something in the second chapter. He said that, and I say second chapter of Genesis, He said that no man is good alone. And for me, that's funny because I love to be relational. I love to be around people. Obviously, I play a team sport, so most things, I love achieving things in life that can't be done alone. So That's why I got married. And I'm a firm believer that when God said that, the word man transitioned into the word human. And I say that because of the fact that in the Bible, it says the word man a lot, all the time. But I firmly believe when God was speaking to man, he was saying human, because he said alone himself, man is not good alone. And I'm only harping on this because of the fact that in the New Testament, the Apostle Paul talks about two Adams. Obviously, in the beginning, God created Adam and Eve, right? They were one. They were together. He created her from his rib, so she would be one with him. So and they stood before each other naked, but not the naked we're thinking about. Spiritually naked. Yes, they probably didn't have clothes on, but they were naked and unashamed because they had nothing to hide. There was no insecurities between the two of them because there was no secrets between them, because they understood where they stood in each other's life. They found a way to help each other because they were created to be partners, to help each other, to serve one another with the faith that one of them will put them first at all times while that person puts them first at all times, where they're always going to be side to side and elevated together, right? That's the idea of it, right? But I say this because in the 3rd chapter, oh, here comes another person, Satan. He lures, sweet talks Eve. He tells her everything she needs to hear. He puffs her up and makes her believe that God wasn't really giving her everything she needed, that he wasn't going to kill you because he loves you too much to let you die. So just eat from the tree of life and you can have everything you ever wanted. You will know everything. You will be just like God. The only issue I have with this is not the fact that Satan was trying to tempt her, but the fact that her husband was with her the entire time. He was tempting her. Could you imagine your husband sitting next to you while another man tempted you? Just blatantly like, hey, he ain't giving you everything you need. You can just come with me and I can give you this, I can give you this, and give you this. Ain't that right, Adam? Right? No, he sat there while Satan lured her. As people collectively in the world, how are we any different if we can know of someone that is hurting, that has been tempted, that has been lured, that has been manipulated into believing that something's okay, or their hope taken away, or their dreams pressed down to where they're no longer dreams. They're created visions of what is not really true. How different are we to know somebody's in need of help or something's not right, and we stand next to them and say, well, she ate the apple first. She ate from the tree first. Because that's what Adam did. Eve ate it first. I did it because we're one. No, he got it wrong. He didn't love his wife. If you love someone, you protect them. If you love someone, you understand what they need and not just what they want. If you love someone, you find a way to make it right, to protect them, to tell the devil, I rebuke you, get away from me, flee from me, you have no power over us. But instead, he didn't do it. So, the Apostle Paul in the New Testament talks about a second Adam. Obviously, it was Jesus. This time, Jesus represented a man who was life-giving. Jesus represented a man who was selfless, a man who was fixated on helping those who he didn't even know, didn't even see. Because we all think that to help someone, we have to be there physically. We have to be in the right place, the right time, face-to-face, eye-to-eye. No, there's social media all the time, right? You can help people on GoFundMe accounts, right? I got a GoFundMe account, actually. No, I'm just kidding. But the point of it all is, I believe that you don't have to be everywhere at once to help someone. I believe that we have the power of influence. Adam had the power of influence to save and to protect his wife, but he didn't. Instead, he let the devil use his influence. You see, the devil doesn't have power over any of us. He only has the power to put obstacles in front of you to distract you from what the truth really is in front of you. He has a way to distract you because he knows all your needs, or wants, should I say, all the temptations that distract you from your real purpose in life. Because, we always want a sense of belonging, a sense of need. We want to be needed. We want to be wanted as people, right? And for me, when I think of the way I was raised, born and raised in Kansas City, Kansas, inner city, single-parent mother, it's a sensitive subject for me because I had an adopted sister that was sexually assaulted by my stepfather. And going into my senior year in high school, I became the man of the house. And for a 16-year-old kid, that's not ideal at all. And this is 2 weeks after I thought my life was perfect. I had just got a full ride to go to the University of Kansas. I was told that if I got a full ride, I would get a brand new car, right? So I was thinking about being a senior with a brand new car on campus, going to college, perfect life. And then I was humbled. A man I highly respected that actually was stationed here in San Diego, small world. As a Marine, he was retired, respectable guy, upstanding man. But the darkness snuck in somehow, some way. For me, I use the word darkness instead of doubt because love drives out doubt, and love is light. You guys got that, right? Let me say it again, because I don't know if I can. It's a tongue twister. But we have to understand that in life, you never can control the things that happen to you, but you can control the foundation you stand on. See, it's said that a man who builds a house on a weak foundation is an idiot, right? You're gonna kill someone, obviously. It's not what it says, but I'm paraphrasing. But the true reality is, if you're gonna build a house, you start from the foundation, and in your foundation, you have to do the scientific research to understand that to bear as much weight as you're gonna put on it, you have to put the time and the effort to build the foundation solid enough to withstand anything that may come against that foundation. So there was obviously enough strength in my foundation to stand through that storm in my life, and I came out of it, I like to use the word diamond in the rough, but I found a way to grow regardless of what was going on around me. Because as a person, as a man and a woman, you have control of your response. You have control of the way in which you respond. You have control over your intentions. And for me, I love to live my life intentionally. And for me, I like to use the motto of living for one. It's because for me, in my life, I have 4 ways to be intentional. That's my family first. I'm married now for almost 5 years, beautiful wife, and she is the apple of my eye. She is my everything on earth because God feeds me through her. And everything I do unto her, I do unto him because she is my soulmate. And from her, we have 2 kids. We have a 2.5-year-old and we have an 8-month-old. And they are amazing. Thank God to look like their mother. But they are amazing because of the fact that I could never imagine to have so much joy for something. You know what God made a wife, in my perspective, is because he wanted us to understand what it seems and what it means to really truly love something and have mercy. Because a woman knows every button. My wife knows every button to push, when to push it, how to provoke me. And all I can say is, Jesus, help me, please, Lord. How does she know to hit that button at that time? How does she know that I was weak, I was vulnerable? Yes, you can do it. Yes, you can have it. Yeah, what'd you say you wanted? I'm just joking. My wife never buys anything. I have to force her to buy stuff. She's from a small town with 2.5 stoplights. And the half light is a crosswalk in front of the school that her parents work at. Because everybody in the town works for the town. No, seriously. I love going there. It's like no cell reception, no nothing. And I can throw a golf ball and hit the middle school, high school, and the elementary. So I'm not that good of a golfer. But my intention, it starts with my family. The second phase of my intentional living goes to my school/workplace if I'm an adult and I'm no longer in school. Or for me, workplace/team. And then after the team and workplace, it goes to community. And through those first 3, there's a domino effect of how you influence the world. Because the influence of 1 to 1 to 1 to 1 is infinite, right? You don't know where your influence can go. And with those all 4, for me, my living for 1 is God. No matter what I do in my life, I have to have a purpose for it and influence everything for the good. And for me, God is an equality of good. All good things come from him. But he gave us the power to make our own decisions, right? So we make bad decisions as people to hurt others, to influence others. And we always ask why bad things happen because, if you played Barbies when you were younger or played with cars when you were a guy, sometimes you allowed bad things to happen to your cars or to your Barbies. Barbie's head popped off a couple times, a car crashed, drowned a couple times. It was natural disasters, right? It was natural disasters. I'm not making light of anything of earth. Please don't take it that way. But what I'm saying is that bad things are going to happen that we cannot control. But if our foundation is built the way it should be, the way we intended it to be, whether it's out of integrity, whether it's out of resilience, whether it's out of selflessness, whether it's out of competence or responsibility, or if it's out of accountability, or if it's out of team ability, being able to work with others, being able to share and communicate with others, or being able to be vulnerable, if that foundation is solid, then regardless of what happens in your life, you will be the same person through the storm that you were before the storm and become better after the storm. And I say that because everything in life is going to be a lesson somehow, some way. Because everybody you come in contact with is going to influence you somehow, some way, right? It's up to you the way you influence people. You can intentionally be positive or you can intentionally be negative. Because no matter what, the world's evolving. I can't even write anything down nowadays because you lose it if you don't put it on your phone. It doesn't work that way. For some reason, if you write on paper, you're going to lose it. It's going to be in the trash somehow, some way. But you never throw your phone away. So for me, every day we leave your house, I'm quoting Seneca, a philosopher. I don't know why. I went to college and graduated. That's probably why. But Seneca said that every day I leave my home to never return the same. It's up to me whether I return better or worse. But if I think I'm staying the same, I'm only kidding myself. For I practice friendship for the sake of practicing friendship, not for individual or selfish gain. So if I'm friends with somebody, it's solely because I love their company, not because of what I can get from them. Because I love the person they are and want to influence them in a positive way, not because of the way I think they can influence me. And I say this because every day you're going to leave your house to never return the same. You're going to change. You're going to get better or worse. If you think you're staying the same, you're kidding yourself because the world's evolving. Everybody's changing. Everybody's growing. So if you're staying the same, you're getting left behind if everybody else is evolving, if the world is changing. That's just my opinion, though. You don't have to believe me. I'm not a philosopher or anything like that. I graduated from the University of Kansas, though. I did. I'm a Jayhawk. I'm a mythical bird. I can be whatever I want. What's your mascot? I can beat it. Mythical. Why are you laughing? But I share with you the poem and the scripture because I believe that God created one, but then one failed because he didn't protect the one he was connected to. As people, we are made to be relational. We are made to outwardly express ourselves in a spiritually intimate way to sharpen each other. Selfishly, we like to just get sharpened. We like to just get sharpened and think we're not sharpening anybody else. But we all know iron sharpens iron. Nothing else can sharpen it. Iron sharpens iron. We're all pieces of iron. Whether you're going to be dull or sharp is up to you. I'm sharp. Not just because of the way I look either. I'm sharp. Because of the man I stand for, the man I stand to raise in my son, and the woman I raised in my daughter, I'm going to be the influence that she needs to see what a true man is supposed to look like. So the way she sees me treat my wife is the way she's going to expect to be treated. The way my son sees me treat my wife is the way I'm going to expect him to look at a woman. So the way you carry yourself, the way you stand, the way you influence others, it's up to you. But I know the reason why we're here tonight is beyond something than just our independent influence or our independent vision, because a lot of it's hidden in the shadows. A lot of people aren't even aware it's prevalent in San Diego. A lot of people are even prevalent that it's even so prevalent. Everything that we want in life is within our reach, including the things that we don't want to see. Just because you don't want to see it doesn't mean you can't help it. Just because you can't relate to it doesn't mean you got to avoid it. Just because you can't imagine it happening to you doesn't mean you turn the other cheek not to look in that direction. It's the hardest thing to be humble. It's even worse to say you are yourself. Let somebody else tell it for you. Give the mic to someone else. Say I'm humble. Come on, man. Say I'm humble. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm saying this because in the position I'm in, it is so hard to get into heaven. For the Bible, it says it's harder for a rich man to get into heaven than a camel to go through a needle. I don't know. I'm paraphrasing again. All I know and I remember is it's impossible. It's almost impossible for a rich man to get into heaven. You know why? because everybody loves convenience. And if you have the means to make everything convenient, you lose the heart to serve. So when you put yourself in a position to not be reachable, and I would jump off the stage if I didn't think I would lose the microphone so I could be reachable, but what I'm trying to say is my heart is to serve. And I challenge you to be intentional. I challenge you to be the influence that you want to see in the world. I challenge you to take advantage of the influence you have in a positive way. Because no matter what I do, I may live for one, but that one will change because God said that he lives in every single thing on earth. So the way I treat you is the way I treat God. It says when you were hungry, I gave you food. When you were thirsty, I let you drink. When you were naked, I clothed you. When you were homeless, I tried to help. I sheltered you. In saying that, I'm not saying you have the power and you need to go shelter every single person in the world because it's almost impossible, even though the world can do that. The world can. We can't individually, but the world can. We have everything we need on this world to help everyone at once, but darkness lures it and keeps it from everyone having it. But we have the power of ourselves individually to influence in a good way. I don't want to beat it to death, but it's a big thing because people think of themselves as less because they're one. A lot of our problems, especially with authority nowadays with the youth and with kids, goes back to understanding that it does take a village to raise a kid. We have to trust the people we put around our kids to help influence and push the things that we're teaching our kids. Because if they only get in a primary institution, they're only at home for so long. So collectively, if we're a positive influence, we can shed the light in the dark places of this world and bring, not to that guy, not justification to that guy, but to the things that were up there before I got up there. I don't like that picture, but thank you. That's like 10 pounds ago. I was heavier, not lighter. What are you thinking? Come on. But in saying that, I want to be a better person for my son. I want to be a better person for my wife and for my daughter because I know the legacy I leave is not what I did on the field, but the people I influenced along the way, the hearts I touched today or any other day. Because, I'm nervous standing up here because I don't have my helmet on. You judge me by my face. Tried to wear a hat to create a shadow so you couldn't see me. But understanding that I get people's attention because of my affiliation, but once you get me, I have a decision to give you life, to give you light, or to give you darkness. And I just wanted to shed light or help shed light in a direction besides the man up there, but to the other things that were up there and to the influence and the power that we all have collectively to help a cause that is bigger than ourselves. Any cause that is helping someone else. And this shirt is all sweaty because I'm hot. Sorry, I came straight from practice. And I actually have a teammate here with me that is awesome to support me. And because I believe that iron sharpens iron, so I don't do anything alone. We're relational, right? So my friend Brendan Oliver is here. He's awesome. And I thank you guys for coming out and gals. I'm from the Midwest, sorry. Born and raised in Kansas. Sixth year here at the Chargers. He already said all that. But I'll be on the panel, and that's really all I have to say. I do want to read my poem one more time because it means a lot to me, and I won't read it again probably after this because I'm nervous. I really usually don't read my poems out loud, so I kind of challenge myself to read it. Exposing me. In a space full of windows, but can't get out. Striving but can't dream, standing still but running inside, looking in the distance but can't see past the obstacles, smiling but tears wash it away, living but life is so suffocating. In the light but darkness surrounds, beauty hid by the scars, love deprived by fear, life taken by hand. I'm just a man taking a stand to be a hand that aids life, encourages you to smile, pushes you towards your dreams, breaks through the obstacles that block your view, illuminating the darkness that surrounds you, and medicating the scars that hide your inner beauty, giving you back your life, your hope, your dreams. And I thank you for coming today and hearing me ramble for a little bit, and hopefully my analogies made sense. And go Chargers. Bolt up for this weekend. The Steelers are coming in town.